Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to Deep Cover with Black Media Man Cave. Without further ado, I do know that he be putting out videos. He be putting out like newer videos and stuff like that. But it's basically over stuff that I've already reacted to, especially if I already did it with Prim. I'm not going to do it again with another person. The only way I'll do it again is if Prim does it. If Prim does it, then I'll redo the video. But if I already did it with Prim, I'm not going to cover it because I think this week he put out Jason's Lyric. And I already did that with Prim, so we're going to leave Jason Lyric alone. So yeah, but we can get into Deep Cover though because Prim ain't touched that. So yeah, without further ado, man, let's get right into this. Deep Cover on the incognito tip. Pause, no diddy. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get right into it. It's 187 and the undercover con. Yeah, and you don't stop.
Much too complex. Too complex. Much too complex.
Welcome to the Black Track, where I do commentary and review on movies with an all-black cast, or at least a black lead. Usually, I'm not a big fan of black drug movies and TV shows. I just feel like they're all basically the same. I guess it's a good thing then that 1992's Deep Cover did something a little different with the premise. Deep Cover was directed by Big Bill Duke, who I just talked about on my Menace to Society video. I guess he decided to direct a whole movie during that supposed retirement he was on. Duke had directed a ton of TV shows before this, but Deep Cover was one of the earliest major motion pictures he directed. Deep Cover tells the story of Russell Stevens Jr., a cop who goes undercover to infiltrate a massive cocaine organization. The premise isn't unique in any way, but Deep Cover tries to set itself apart from other drug films by putting most of the focus on Russell the person and how he deals with his mission emotionally. And when you need your star to get in his feelings in a believable way, you need to get a great actor like Lawrence Fishburne. Around this time, I feel like Lawrence Fishburne was really starting to hit his stride as an actor. He did this movie right after Boys in the Hood, but the character of Furious Styles and Russell Stevens are complete opposites, and really speaks to Fishburne's ability to get into and truly transform himself for a role. These type of movies normally have an ensemble cast, but other than being backed up by Jeff Goldblum, there's really not many other notable names in the movie. Lawrence Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum pretty much carry the movie all by themselves. Can a drug movie with very little star power get me hooked enough to give it a good grade for 2022? Let's Black Track and find out. Oh man, let me find out Deep Cover is a Christmas movie. That would have changed the whole dynamic of the film and gave a new meaning to the word snow. It's 1972, and we start the movie with a young Russell Stevens and his father, Russell Stevens Sr., who's played by none other than Glenn Turman, who played Preach on Cooley High. Whoa, you might want to slow down on all that booger sugar, man. I guess he still hasn't come to terms with Cochise' death. Being on that stuff gives Russell Sr. the idea and the courage to rob a store. He claims it's for Christmas money, but we all know it's for a different kind of candy cane. He successfully robs the store, but he forgets the second rule of Zombieland.
You see?
Always double tap. What is this, like $10? Man, you died for $10? Hey, maybe cocaine was cheaper in the 70s than it is now. Not that I would know or anything. Yo, it's Clifton Powell. I like this movie already. What's he got going on?
Tell me, do you know the difference between a black man and a nigger?
No.
Most niggers don't.
Well, I guess that's the end of him in this movie. I'm kind of disappointed that he didn't have the same reaction as guy number 2 though.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Ah, that's more like it. Unfortunately, that was also the wrong answer, but grown-up Russell Jr. gets it right.
The nigger's the one that would even answer that question.
Such an easy question to get right, because why else would this white man ask such an inflammatory question, if not to get a reaction out of you? I expected an undercover interview to be a little trickier. I have to laugh whenever I see what's supposed to be a clean and good officer in movies, because it's always assumed that they stay shaved and never grow a beard because, you know, only bad guys have beards. They could have at least straightened up this Widow's Peak hairline. Back in the day, I used to call it a Batman hairline because of how it looks like the bottom of the Batman logo. And now you will forever think about that when you see one. Russell Stevens Jr.
I'm not gonna lie, that Widow's Peak was bothering me throughout this whole movie. I was like, who the fuck said that was cool? Nigga, if you don't get that shit lined up right, that shit was not cool, bruh. That was not cool.
now, Sway.
Take a few to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
I'm saying, though, that Widow's Peak was terrible.
Jr. takes the undercover job and changes his name to John Hull. And if you think I was just being funny about the facial hair, then consider the fact that in just 2 weeks, old John grows it out.
Oh yeah, he's very convincing now. No way he can be a cop. I mean, look at his beard.
The idea is pretty simple. John will start from the bottom as a small-time drug dealer and work his way up the chain so that he could get evidence on 3 crime bosses, including the very top guy. Right out of the gate, it's a bit of a pain in the ass because he has to deal with this stab from Full Force looking ass dude who's trying to protect his turf.
Hasta la vista, motherfucker!
See, this is what the Full Force gang should have been like in House Party. Check out this cameo. It's Tyron Turner, aka Kane from Menace to Society. Before John can get to the top, he has to get close to this guy Eddie who supplies the drugs to the streets. Eddie is played by Roger Smith, who I've shown multiple times on my channel, but never really had a ton of time to talk about. He was in School Days, which was his first film, Poetic Justice, and Tales from the Hood.
He's another one of those unsung actors whose career spans over 30 years, and even though he's always consistent, he still somehow remains in the background.
Here, he's kind of a screw up, because he's on that stuff too. So he's the perfect person for John to use to get close to the big dealers. They set up a meeting to exchange goods, and on a personal note, this is the reason I could never be a drug dealer, because you never know what's gonna happen. You don't know if you're gonna get robbed, you don't know if you're gonna get killed, you don't know if you're gonna get set up like John here. Well damn Eddie, what's up with that? Turns out it was just a test. This stuff is only baby laxative. Damn, good thing he didn't test it out. John goes to court, but it's immediately dismissed when his pro bono lawyer David, played by Jeff Goldblum, tells the judge what it really is. Now why would he go through all that trouble? Well, that's because he secretly works for the local drug kingpin named Barbosa, played by Gregory Sierra. Oh man, you're a bad guy in this movie? And after you were such a cool guy in A Low Down Dirty Shame, Gregory Sierra actually quietly passed away last year without any fanfare. May he rest in peace.
I like the fact that unlike most drug movies, Deep Cover makes a point to show you that it's not just a black street thugs game. David is a high-powered lawyer with a huge house and a perfect life, so that helps to make him unassuming as a drug dealer.
There's also a bit of a religious angle going on in Deep Cover, and what better man to deliver said angle than the great Clarence Williams III. Only he's not Satan this time, oh no. He's a deeply religious cop named Taft who acts as sort of an angel on John's shoulder throughout the movie. For some reason, he sees some good in him, even though he keeps coming down on him for dealing. It's never revealed whether he knows he's a cop or not, which I think was a good idea. Better to keep the audience guessing about what he actually knows. If Taft represents the angel, then David definitely represents the devil on John's other shoulder. This movie also plays with color a lot, just like Menace to Society, especially when they go to meet Barbosa. They get bathed in this red light, like they're walking down into a den of evil. But at least in this case, it was clearly intentional. It might not be hell, but Eddie damn sure gets the hell beat out of him for not only getting busted, but for also talking to the cops. With Eddie gone, it becomes John's lucky day, because Barbosa is getting ready to promote your ass. Low key, John isn't very believable as an undercover cop. His nuance is just way off. Like, look at how he holds the gun when Full Force and his village person shows up to press up on his customers. This stance is straight out of the police academy. No actual criminal holds a gun this way. It's made worse by the fact that the guy right next to him is doing it more believable. Yeah, he's a little more dramatic and flamboyant with it, but he's still more gangster though. It's no surprise then that Betty, the woman who launders money for the organization, smells bacon from a mile away. Betty is played by Victoria Dillard, fresh off of starring in the movie Ricochet, but you may remember her from that one episode of Martin when the fellas was babysitting her child.
Betty might be the most unnecessary part of this film, and it feels like at the last minute, somebody decided that John needed a love interest.
1 minute, she doesn't trust him and thinks he's a cop, and the next minute, with no justification, they doing sloppy in-outs. I just think it could have been written a little differently, and she would have been better served as the one person who never trusts John, since she's the only other black person in the organization. Regardless, John is still in cover, but he's not in deep cover yet, as the title suggests. No, that comes when he and David decide that Stab's little brother has to die to rid the neighborhood of the Full Force gang once and for all.
This is where the movie asks you to suspend a little disbelief, because there's absolutely no way in hell that a cop will be given the green light to murder somebody, no matter how deep they are.
Yeah, I know his boss is corrupt, but what police agency isn't? It still wouldn't fly.
The importance of this scene is the fact that John has clearly crossed the line between cop and criminal, and is starting to affect him mentally. I do like the idea, but to act like he never would have killed a man in his life despite being a police officer, come on, Deep Cover. I guess if it's in the line of duty, that changes things. You gotta love those early 90s motion graphics. They thought they were being so futuristic. David and John hook up with this narcotics nerd to come up with a new synthetic cocaine that's hard to detect, and this gives them the balls to want to strike out on their own. Only problem with that, their boss Felix Barbosa can't stand David, and not only embarrasses him in front of everybody, but also challenges him to a duel. Have at you. See, this is another reason in a long line of reasons that I could never be a drug dealer, because if somebody backhands me like that in front of God and everybody, I'm sorry, but you got to die. David agrees and decides that night that if they're gonna take over, then Barbosa has to go. Oh, but there's more. Turns out, Barbosa is an informant, and it gets better. He sells out his lower level dealers to corrupt cops so that it looks like they're doing a good job in the community. He wants it set up so that David, John, and Betty get set up during a deal, and if David accidentally gets killed on purpose, then that makes it even better. Joke's on you though, Barbosa, because John's boss knows everything.
Carver already knew about it. He always knew about everything. Don't ask me how.
I feel like I should go back to calling him Russell during these scenes. John's boss wants him to no-show the drug meeting, but John can't just abandon his unrealistic relationship with Betty like that, so he goes anyway and hatches a plan to turn the tables. He exposes Barbosa as a snitch and reveals that the cops don't have a plan B, C, or D. They take off in one of the limos, but the big car chase scene is overshadowed by the fact that David sees an opportunity for revenge. I can't argue with this logic.
He traded us to the cops, just like Eddie, and Eddie had to die. The same rule should apply to Felix.
I gotta admit though, I feel like this scene was supposed to be way more serious, but it's hard not to laugh when you see how Barbosa dies.
Ah, you motherfucker! You shot me in the ass!
With Barbosa out of the way, John and David basically get threatened by the man who's second in command named Gallegos. But unfortunately, the movie doesn't have a ton of time left to really make much of a big deal about it. This dude is a far more interesting character than Barbosa, and I feel like they could have swapped screen time or cut Barbosa out entirely and made things more interesting. He claims Barbosa owes him money, so since they killed him, now they owe him money. But he keeps going up on the interest. I tell you, that predatory lending will get you every time. With each new boss showing up, things are getting crazier and crazier. John is about ready to get out of this undercover gig and tells his boss that they can end things right here and right now. They got Gallegos, so he'll just testify against him and go home. I want to know how he thought his boss wasn't going to take a piece out of his ass for blowing that bust though. How you show up back to work like nothing happened?
Give me your gun.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing?
You are not going back out there. If I have to, I'm going to put you in custody. Now give me your fucking gun.
Man, John, if you don't knock out this evil Rick Moranis looking motherfucker, I know something.
Talk to me, man.
Well, that's something, I guess. Dude is like 5'3". He's like a hobbit compared to you. He tells John that this is bigger than Nino Brown, and it goes all the way to the top. The government wants Gallegos' uncle, Guzman, to be El Presidente for political reasons or something. Even though this mirrors real-life issues between the US government and the Nicaraguan Contras, I feel like this type of political intrigue brings the story and the tension built up to this point to a screeching halt. I especially hate the fact that they show John using cocaine in his despair. I just feel like that's the one thing he had was his convictions and his hatred of drugs. So showing him using in a one-off scene that really goes nowhere was kind of unnecessary. He quits being a cop and decides to just be a full-time drug dealer because hey, why not? He was already doing it anyway, and he and David damn near have taken over the entire organization. Might as well get this money. They also kill Gallegos before he kills them first, and then steals all of his money. This lures out his uncle Guzman, which I felt was way too easy. And David and John set up a meeting for him to buy their new fancy cocaine. Surprisingly, after everything that's gone down, he agrees to it. But Taft, the only clean cop in the entire force it seems, tries to make the bust of his career. Guzman and his men just laugh it off, which is super disrespectful by the way. But John tries to get him to give up the crusade before something bad happens. Like I said earlier, Taft is like the angel on John's shoulder. He wants him to give up the drug game and be a good person. He's like a replacement for a father figure, which makes it even worse when the devil on his other shoulder, David, gives him flashbacks to his childhood and kills Taft. What happens next, I think, is the best part of the movie. John is forced to reveal he's a cop to try to save Taft's life, and you would think that that would cause David to immediately kill him, but no.
David wants him to abandon Taft, take the money, and continue selling drugs with him. Once again, the movie takes on a good versus evil vibe. Taft is on the ground quoting religious verses while he dies, and it's no coincidence that David's choice of clothing has gotten increasingly darker as the movie goes along, and the getaway money truck being blood red is just an extra touch. Plus, listen to David's dialogue.
Forget this Judeo-Christian bullshit. The same people that taught us virtue are the very ones who have enslaved us, baby.
They drag out what kind of decision John is going to make for great effect, but in the end, he decides to destroy the evil in his life by shooting David as sirens approach. The movie should have ended right here. This was perfect. Yeah, it's not a happy ending, but it doesn't have to be in this situation. So of course, Deep Cover ruins it by adding an extra courtroom scene and what could be perceived as a happy ending. Evil Rick Moranis threatens Russell to not reveal how corrupt the cops in the DA office is, and in return, they won't throw his girlfriend Betty in jail. That means absolutely dick to the audience because, like I said, their relationship is shallow as shit. He goes through with it, but finds a loophole by speaking well about the DA office, but at the same time exposing Guzman as a criminal. It's all hastily thrown together. In the end, John keeps to keep most of the money he got from Guzman, and he also gets the girl. They even try to tie it into the beginning of the movie somewhat.
You know, you and Jason took a hell of a lot of money out of that van before you gave it to Guzman. Now, how much was that exactly, huh?
What's the difference between a black man and a nigger?
What? Oh!
The nigger's the one that would even think about telling you.
But wait a minute. There's no way these powerful dudes are going to just let him walk away with their money. He knows way too much, and it's not like he's untouchable. That agreement is worthless on the streets. Let's get to the grade. Deep Cover has some great ideas, and for the most part, it succeeds. Despite some nitpicks about how unbelievable an undercover cop John can be, the story itself is an interesting look into his struggle between right and wrong. Lawrence Fishburne was a great casting choice because he could effectively communicate his pain and anguish through his facial expressions. He definitely carries the movie on his back. That's no disrespect to Jeff Goldblum, he's great. He just wasn't the primary focus of the film. Once again, I like how the movie uses colors, costume, and set design to express good versus evil. I also like how secondary characters are used to reinforce both sides of John's personality. Bill Duke drops the ball on the ending, unfortunately, but the rest of the movie is so good that it can be excused. Both Fishburne and Goldblum blew up after this movie, with Lawrence doing What's Love Got to Do with It right after this, and Jeff doing Jurassic Park the next year.
Well, let's just say one got a good gig, the other guy got a good gig, but it came with a long-lasting hatred from women. If y'all don't know, Lawrence Fishburne to this day still gets harassed by women for being Ike Turner in the fucking movie. This is how crazy people are. They was more mad at Lawrence Fishburne than they were at Ike Turner. Think about it. Ike Turner started doing interviews after this movie came out, admitting that he used to beat the shit out of Tina Turner. And they was still looking at Lawrence Fishburne like, you bitch ass nigga, why the fuck you do that movie? You ain't shit. You ain't shit hitting on her. Why you hitting on? He was an actor. How you hating on the actor more than you hating on the fucking nigga that's actually doing the interview saying, yeah, I slapped shit out of Tina Turner. Every time I look at her sometimes, I'll be like, why you sad? Why you sad? And I beat shit out of her. I just beat the shit out of her. Just because. Because I like her being sad. She want to be sad, I'm going to give you a reason to be sad. Because I'm Ike Turner, then. That's the world we live in. The world we fucking live in, ladies and gentlemen. The world we fucking live in. Oh my God, y'all are some of the most slowest people I've ever fucking known in my life. I swear some of y'all people don't deserve, some of y'all people need to be riding the special buses. Some of y'all need a football helmet on your head. Something. Because ain't no fucking way. But anyways, let's get back into this.
I wouldn't be shocked to learn that their performances in this movie greatly helped their careers. My grade for Deep Cover is a B+.
I give it an A-. This was a really good movie. Up until the end, the end, they dragged the fuck out the end. The ending, they dragged it out a little too much for me. But I will say, this is an A- for me, hands down. This is an A- for me. This was a really good movie. I might put this on the docket for a stream. Just know that this movie kind of long and it does drag, but it's a really good fucking movie. Really good cop movie. I think we're going to have to do a cop movie night. I think Deep Cover may be one of the movies on the docket. But anyway, so that's just going to about do it for this one, man. Great movie. Great song to it. Now, damn it. Now I want to listen to the fucking song. God damn it. What's it? Now I gotta listen to the goddamn song.
Say, man, get this.
No, man, I can't fake that.
Say, man, I've been dealing with you for 3 months. What this all about? You ain't hit the pipe yet.
Yeah? That's what you saying.
Might be 5-0.
Man, I ain't no police.
And what's the problem? Get this.
I can feel it.
Got to. Sorry, got to.
Tonight's the night I get in some shit. Yeah. Deep cover of the incognito tip. Killing motherfuckers if I have to. Filling gaps too. Let your niggas know I'm coming at you. I guess that's part of the game. But I feel for the nigga who think he just gon' come and change things with the swiftness. So get it right with the quickness and let me handle my business. Yo, I'm on a mission and my mission won't stop until I get the nigga maxing at the top.
I hope you get his ass before he drop.
Kingpin kicking back while his workers slinging rocks. Coming up like a fat rat. Big money, big cars, big bodyguards on his back. So it's difficult to get him.
But I got the hooker with somebody who knows how to get in contact with him.
Hit him like this and like that. Let him know that I'm looking for a big fat dope sack. What is the spin? So let's rush it. If you wanna handle it tonight, we'll discuss it. On a nigga's time and a nigga's place. Take my strap just in case one of his boys recognize my face. Cause he's a shiesty motherfucker. But I gives a fuck, cause I'm going deep cover. Yeah, and you don't stop.
Cause it's 187 on the undercover cop.
Yeah, and you don't stop.
Cause it's 187 on the undercover cop. Creep with me as I walk through the hood. Maniac, lunatic, calling Snoop Eastwood. Kicking dust as I bust fuck peace. And the motherfucking drug police. You already know I give a fuck about a cop. So why in the fuck would you think that it would stop? Plot, yeah, that's what we's about to do. Take your ass on a mission with the boys in blue. Dre,
what up, Snoop?
Yo, I got the feeling. Tonight's the night like Betty Wright, and I'm chillin', killin', feelin', no remorse, yeah. So let's go straight to the motherfucking source and see what we can find. Crooked ass cops that be getting niggas a gang of time. And now they wanna make a deal with me. Scoop me up and put me on their team and chill with me. And make my pockets bigger. They wanna meet with me tonight at 7 o'clock.
So what's up, nigga?
What you wanna do?
What you wanna do?
I got the gauge, a Uzi, and my motherfucking 22. So if you wanna blast, nigga, we can buck 'em. If we stick 'em, then we stuck 'em. So fuck.
Yeah, and you don't stop.
Cause it's 187 on the undercover cop.
Yeah, and you don't stop.
Cause it's 187 on the undercover cop.